It was hot in the shaft, and he was growing tired. Sweat was seeping into his eyes, persistent as ants, and Dallas had to stop to wipe it away. Ahead, the shaft turned steeply downward. He'd been expecting the downturn about now, but the satisfaction of having his memory confirmed gave him little pleasure. Now he'd have to watch his speed and balance in addition to the shaft itself. Crawling to the drop, he pointed the flamethrower downward and let loose another fiery discharge. No screams, no aroma of seared flesh drifted back up to him. The creature was still far ahead. He wondered if it were crawling, perhaps angrily, perhaps fearfully, in search of the exit. Or maybe it was waiting, turned to confront its persistent pursuer. There was another possibility, he mused. What if the creature had somehow discovered another way to leave the shaft? In that event, he'd made the tense, agonizing crawl for nothing. There was still only one way to resolve all these questions. He started down the steep slide head first, keeping the flamethrower balanced and pointing forward. It was Lambert who first noticed the movement of the tracker needle. "Beginning to get a reading on you now," she informed the distant Dallas. Okay, he felt better, knowing that the others knew exactly where he was. "Stay on me." The shaft made another turn. He didn't recall there being quite so many twists and sharp ends, but he was positive he was still in the main shaft. He hadn't passed a single side tunnel wide enough to admit anything larger than Jones. Dallas didn't think it could shrink itself that much. The present turn confronting him proved especially difficult to navigate. The long, inflexible barrel of the flamethrower didn't make things any easier. Panting, he lay there and considered how to proceed. "Ripley!" She jerked at the sharpness of his voice, spoke hurriedly into the comm pickup. "I'm here, reading you clearly. Anything wrong? You sound..." She caught herself. How else could Dallas sound except nervous? "I'm okay," he told her. "Just tired, out of shape, too many weeks in hypersleep. You lose your muscle tone no matter what the freezers do for you." He wiggled into a new position, gained a better view ahead. "I don't think this shaft goes much further. It's getting hot in here." That was to be expected, he told himself. The accumulated effects of multiple blasts from his flamethrower would tax the capacity of the shaft's thermostats. Continuing on now. "Stay ready." An onlooker could easily have read the relief in Dallas's face when he finally emerged from the cramped tunnel. It opened into one of the Nostromo's main air ducts, a two-tiered tunnel split by a catwalk. He crawled out of the shaft and stood on the railless walkway, stretched gratefully. A careful inspection of the larger passage proved negative. The only sound he heard was the patient throbbing of cooling machinery. There was a repair junction part way down the walk, and he strolled out to it, repeated his inspection there. As far as he could see, the huge chamber was empty. Nothing could sneak up on him here, not while he was standing in the center of the room. It would be a good place to grab a couple of minutes of much-needed rest. He sat down on the catwalk, casually examining the floor level below, and spoke toward the throat mic. "Lambert, what kind of reading are you getting? I'm in one of the central mixing chambers at the repair station near the center. Nothing here but me." The navigator glanced at the tracker, looked suddenly puzzled. She glanced worriedly at Parker, thrust the device under his gaze. "Can you make any sense out of this?" Parker studied the needle and read out. "Not me. That's not my toy. It's Ash's. Confusing though." "Lambert," Dallas again. "Here. I'm not sure." She jiggled the tracker. The reading remained as incomprehensible as before. "There seems to be some kind of double signal." "That's crazy. Are you getting two separate, distinct readings for me?" "No, just one impossible one." "It may be interference," he told her. the way the air's shifting around in here, that could confuse the hell out of a jury-rigged machine designed to read air density. I'll push on ahead. It will probably clear up as soon as I move. He rose, not seeing the massive clawed hand rising slowly from the catwalk under him. The groping paw just missed his left foot as he continued forward. It drifted back beneath the walkway as silently as it had appeared. Dallas had walked halfway to the end of the chamber. Now he stopped. Is that better, Lambert? I've moved. Am I any clearer now? It's clear, all right. Her voice was strained. But I'm still getting a double signal, and I think they're distinct. I'm not sure which one is which. Dallas whirled, his eyes darting around the tunnel, canvassing ceiling, floor, walls, and the large shaft opening he'd just emerged from. Then he looked back down the catwalk to the repair junction, to the spot where he'd just been sitting a few seconds ago. He lowered the nose of the flamethrower. If he was now the front signal, having moved down the catwalk, then the cause of the double signal ought to be. His fingers started to tense on the incinerator's trigger. A hand reached up from below and behind, toward his ankle. The alien was the front signal. Ripley stood alone by the duct, watching it and thinking of the open airlock standing ready nearby. There was a distant ringing sound. At first she thought it was inside her head, where funny noises often originated. Then it was repeated, louder, and followed by an echo this time. It seemed to be coming from deep within the shaft. Her hands tensed on the flamethrower. The ringing ceased. Against her better judgment, she moved a little closer to the opening, keeping the nozzle of the flamethrower focused on it. There came a recognizable sound. A scream. She recognized the voice. Forgetting all carefully laid plans and sensible procedure, she ran the rest of the way to the opening. Dallas! Dallas! There were no more screams after the first, only a soft, far-off thumping, which rapidly faded away. She checked her tracker. It displayed a single blip, the red color also fading fast, just like the scream. Oh my God! Parker! Lambert! She rushed towards the pickup, yelled into the grid. Here, Ripley, responded Lambert. What's going on? I just lost my signal. She started to say something, had it die in her throat. She suddenly remembered her new responsibilities, firmed her voice and straightened herself, though no one was around to see it. We just lost Dallas. The 4 surviving members of the Nostromo's crew reassembled in a mess. It was no longer cramped, confining. It had acquired a spaciousness the 4 loathed, and held memories they struggled to put aside. Parker held 2 flamethrowers, dumped one onto the bare tabletop. Ripley gazed sadly at him. Where was it? We just found it laying there, on the floor of the mixing chamber below the walkway, the engineer said dully. No sign of him, no blood, nothing. What about the alien? The same, nothing. Only a hole torn through the central cooling complex, right through the metal. I didn't think it was that strong. None of us did. Dallas didn't either. We've been 2 steps behind this creature since we first brought it on board. That's gotta change. From now on, we assume it's capable of anything, including invisibility. No known creature is a natural invisible, Ash insisted. She glared back at him. No known creature can peel back 3 centimeter thick ship's plating either. Ash offered no response to that. It's about time we all realize what we're up against. There was silence in the mess. Ripley, this puts you in command. Parker looked straight at her. It's okay with me.